We are here. We are here. Welcome back. It's the Salute to Troy, boys. Phil, how are you doing?
Woo! How am I doing? Man, you over here selling us short. I'm ready to go, boy. We doing it. Pac-12 championship, here we come. And now it's looking like all of the factors that needed to be in play have been played. And USC is slipping in to that number 4 spot.
Well, I'm not gonna go so far as that because I don't trust the committee. But I will say this: anytime you wanted to see if there's any time you wanted to see a convincing win, if there's any time you wanted to prove something, tonight was the night. This is the first night, and you're not going to agree with me. This is the first night I can't say anything bad about the Trojans defense.
Nope.
I legit can't say anything bad. They showed up. They created 2 turnovers, plus 22 on the year. No turnovers by the offense. Knock on wood. And they're heading to Vegas in a very, very good place. This team is confident. This team has swag. It is the teams that I've been watching all my life. It's the teams that I played on. This was an amazing, amazing night. What happened tonight at the Coliseum?
Not only that, you're seeing a historical season. You saw 42 touchdowns, 43 actually, I think, at final tally, which is a new school record. You think about Carson Palmer, you think about Matt Leinart, Matt Sanchez, all of the great quarterbacks that have walked these halls of USC and played at the Coliseum. And now Caleb Williams, is a true sophomore, has come in and staked his claim in Trojan history forever. You asked off the air. You had asked, is there going to be another jersey up in the Coliseum?
The East End Zone.
In the East End Zone?
Yep.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
I mean, yeah, this dude played lights out. Like here's the catch. Here's the catch. So I don't know if they changed it, but it used to be that the voting ended on December 1st, right? So it kind of helps out. I don't know if they changed it, but if voting ends on December 1st, then December 2nd is when the Trojans play. So I think this was the game that he needed. Caleb Williams needed to be a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, he was lights out tonight. And he's so elusive. He's deceptively strong. He's deceptively fast. He makes plays. And the best part is we get another year of Caleb Williams. This is only the beginning. It's only just begun. Like, we get Mario Williams and Caleb Williams back. I want to see what year Austin Jones is because we get Austin Jones back. I told you, Phil. I told you. Number 6 is a dude. Number 6 is a dude. 2 weeks in a row. Number 6 just ran the ball down their throat. Power football at SC is back. Like, number 6 is a dude. Always falls forward. Does everything he needs to do, man. This is the happiest I've ever been in a long time. When we do our show on Tuesday, I'm giddy right now. I'm up right now.
Oh yeah.
I deserve a drink. Like
yeah, I'm going to enjoy one after this. I actually am. Because like you said, you think about where we were when we started this show during the spring game. And how I was down on the running backs. I was like, I don't know about these dudes, man. They've been carrying, lighting the torch, leading the way, carrying the weight. And then Caleb Williams, man, you can't say enough about Caleb Williams. I thought that he would be good. I thought that he'd be great, but I didn't think that I was going to be when we started this, that we were going to be watching a Heisman Trophy winner.
I didn't either.
And I know, and I had been meaning to get on you about this because I remember somebody who said that the USC Trojans were ready for the college football playoffs. I believe that they are, sir.
That they
are.
I mean, maybe And I got a buddy who gets on me about that all the time. But all I'm saying is, Caleb, this is to you, man. Anyway, neither here nor that's good. That's good shit right there. Anyway, yes, hey, but all I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. We understood what the standard was, and we always talked about the standard on our show. And I told you, like, the highest standard. This is what I did see. These dudes got better and better and better. And then they got to the final, and the final was last week. And we was on that golf course, and we said this is what they needed to do. The win last week was more convincing than this one because low-key they should have won by 9 to 13 points. You remember they missed 2 field goals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like last week was more convincing. They should have put 50-something points up, but to walk in this, okay, here it is, Phil. We finally seen it from the Trojans. They played a complete game. Yep. This is the most complete game we've seen SC play all year. And when you see them dudes play a complete game because they're on fire right now, this is what you get. You can't complain. You get to go to bed happy.
Not only that, but looking towards the future and looking at how Ohio State got exposed today by Michigan and that the Big Ten is ultimately their destination, said, I like their chances against Michigan too.
Well, we'll see what they'll do because I might be talking crazy here, but not a lot of people are high on TCU. And if the college football playoff is supposedly you're supposed to rank the best teams in the best position, we might make a big jump and we might jump a team. And we might get put in a situation where we actually do have to play Michigan. And our record against Michigan is a winning record against Michigan. I don't think we're worried about Michigan.
No.
Right? My main worry is if we get a chance to play Georgia on the field, we have to play Georgia. But that's neither here nor there. We got to get through Friday first. Friday comes first, and we'll let everything take care of everything. We got to figure out what we're playing.
Wait. I've been on a roll. For those who don't know, and you obviously won't because we haven't been on doing that many live shows. We were all in Pasadena. Everybody else cut out early. I stayed to watch the game and sat in the stands, even paid. Was happy I paid because it was a fantastic game. But so I've gone from the Rose Bowl, watching the game against USC, watching this game we saw right here against Notre Dame, this clinched the Pac-12 championship, which we will be in the house for the Pac-12 championship on Friday. So this little 3-week stretch of college football bliss that I've been on has just been amazing for me, and I'm incredibly grateful to be covering all of this, having this much excitement in my first year of coverage.
This by far was an amazing first year. I mean, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more on Tuesday. We'll talk about it more on Tuesday when we break down this game, and we're going to break down the season. And it was everything we expected it to be, everything we predicted it to be. But just the fact that we have an opportunity to see a Heisman Trophy winner, we have an opportunity probably to see a playoff game. I mean, if all else fails and things don't even go our way, we have an opportunity to go back to the Rose Bowl on the 2nd, on Monday. Like, there's so many opportunities we get to see here. Year one with Lincoln, like, it's just amazing. It's just amazing, like, what Lincoln Riley was able to accomplish in year one, mostly because of the transfer portal. You know what I mean? Mostly because of NIL, I think. But Lincoln Riley just has proven that he's a great coach. And the fact that he left Oklahoma to come here, it tells you everything about being a USC Trojan. It tells you everything about what this program has the ability to do. Everybody was down on it. Nobody had anything to say. Everybody was down on it. And Brandon Inghall, yes, Caleb Williams did clinch the Heisman tonight. That is exactly how you clinch the Heisman tonight. And what does Lynch make? What does Coach Lynch make quarterbacks look like? Superstars? It's a baller. He balled tonight. You know what I mean? Those are some questions we have. But what I was saying is that we're climbing back up the pinnacle mountain. right? And if you look at the history of SC, there were some down years, but most of the time we're at the top. I've always said this. This is good for college football, right? SC being good is good for college football. The media is back on the side of SC. They want to put SC in the playoff for weeks and weeks and weeks. They don't know. Now this team deserves to be here. Put us in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think we should go yet. I don't think we're there yet. But I mean,
so why we'll get into that Tuesday, because at this point I'm dying to hear why you would say that. I at this point I had to say that I had to start wondering what you're putting in your drink there, Al.
I'll give you a highlight, and you guys tune in on Tuesday. It's a depth reason. It's more of a depth reason. If like UCLA, right? If UCLA number 1 goes down, there's so much separation in number 2. It's a defensive depth reason. We can't afford. If we play Georgia, we have to stay 100% healthy the whole time. We can't afford for anybody to get it correct.
We are here. We are here now. We are sitting on the precipice of a top 4 ranking and a shot at the college football playoff. It's going to cut with, we got to take care of our business, win the Pac-12 championship. And if they do in fact take care of their business and win the Pac-12 championship with a player who should win the Heisman, the college football playoff is going to be a reality. Now, I understand what you're saying about depth, but when you are there and when the season when it's right there in front of you, you're gonna rock with what you got.
100%. And let me say this: if we go, I will be ecstatic that we go. That's the part that we have to understand. If we go, I'm gonna be ecstatic that we go. And here's the best part about it: it's at SoFi. It's a home game. If we get in the national championship, it's a home game at SoFi. We're going to be out there the same way we were. You got to come down, Phil, and it has to happen. Like same tailgate. Yeah. We have to have all of our fans there. But the fact that we are climbing the mountain again to be the pinnacle of college football. Everybody hates the fact that SC was the pinnacle of college football, and we're climbing that mountain again, becoming the pinnacle. Like we talked about before, we're at the point to why would I leave California and I can do everything I need to do here? Like they're going to be able to keep kids home. They're going to be able to do everything. Tonight was just a performance that we're used to seeing. Like they legit, like SC legit had a convincing win. We've been talking about it all season on the podcast. Like, hey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? When are we going to have a complete game? When are we going to have a complete game? And when SC put together a complete game on game 12, the most important game, I think, because they had to show the world. They had Kirk Horstreak there announcing the game. Show the world that you deserve to be where you are. And they legit did it. They put together a complete game. The whole talk about before the game started. Oh, the O-line is bigger than SC. They're a ground and pound team. Blah, blah, blah. What did SC do? They bowled up and they shut him down. And their team did what he did. And he's probably on his way to a suit fitting and getting ready to go to New York.
Love it. Love it. Everything that we could have asked for. The only thing that I would have changed about this season was a 1-point loss to Utah.
And we might get our get back.
I sincerely hope that they do. At this point, I would tip my hat to Washington if they got in. Hey, more power to them. Wouldn't be mad at all about that. But at this point, I think that Utah to redeem themselves against Utah would be the last remaining hurdle that I could think that would keep them out of the CFB.
Yeah, Brandon, SC can't dethrone the SEC, that conference as a whole, but they could become a big name in college football that was like in the early 2000s.
Right. That absolutely. And LSU lost today. It's been incredible. It's been an incredible rivalry weekend. I mean, watching all of this, but we'll talk about them. We'll talk about them on Tuesday. This is about SC, man. I'm excited. They went out there. They took care of business. They dominated. This game was never in question. I mean, was there
Never.
ever a moment that you saw that you thought that, oh shit? No.
No, and that's a complete game. That's what I'm saying. That was a complete game by them. And so and speaking of that, what you're speaking of, like, to piggyback off that, everything fell in place for SC this week, right? LSU lost, Clemson loses. Who else lost? Oregon loses. Like, everything falls in place.
Wait, what?
Oregon lost.
Yeah, that's right. Oregon lost too. Ohio State got blown out.
Ohio State got blown out at home. They got blown out. Home. Yep. So the stars are aligning. How are we riding luck, or are we just hot at the right time? You know what I mean?
I don't believe it's luck. I think that there's no such thing as luck. Luck is where hard work meets opportunity. They put in the work. They won the games they were supposed to. They put themselves in position to capitalize on opportunity when it fell their way, when it's falling their way. I don't believe that it's luck. I don't believe that, you know what I'm saying? I believe that they went in and they've played to their abilities, and their abilities are top tier, upper echelon.
No, 100%. Hey, Brenden, so actually that question you just asked, he asked, is it possible that college football is woken a sleeping giant as an SC? We're actually going to talk about that. We're going to podcast on Tuesday. It'll be out Wednesday, and we'll answer that question. So tune in, and you'll be able to get that one. But I've been saying this, and I know you've heard me say it multiple times. This is great for football. Not only this is great for football, people. This is what we found out this year. People found out that going into Corvallis, Oregon is not easy to play. Playing in Salt Lake City is not easy to play because of the altitude. Who knew that Corvallis, Oregon, there's 40,000 fans up on you, is hard to play against? Nobody ever knew that. They always down-talked it until all of a sudden you get 13. Caleb Williams comes. He's like, hey, it's loud there. Lincoln Riley said it's loud there. Who knew that playing at 4,000 feet above sea level? Well, people knew, and they understand, like, oh, like, you get winded. But playing a game, it's like, oh, it's different. I guarantee you next year, when SC goes to Colorado to play, they won't have that issue. Because this is also – here's the scary part about this season. This was a learning gap for Lincoln Riley and all those kids who are coming back. Now they know what to expect, and they know what to look for. What happens now? You know what I mean? How much better do you get? Kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, man.
Recruiting, what this has done for recruiting in year one, I'm not even talking about NIL. I'm talking about recruiting, just regular old out of high school California recruiting.
Yeah. Why do I need to leave?
Yeah.
Why do I need to leave California? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Nick Saban, like, yeah, cool. That's cool. You can get my parents a job, but I could also make $2 million, and I could be a celebrity in California as an 18-year-old. I could sit.
Yeah, in my neighborhood.
I could sit floor-side seats at the Laker game. I can't do that in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I can't do that in Clemson, South Carolina. There's nowhere else you could tell me unless you go to Miami, right, where I could be a celebrity and it matters. There's find a place, match it. You know what I mean? Like, it gets to the point where you're like, match my contract, and you won't be able to match it. Like it. And I said this early when this NIL thing came out, and I was like, it ain't no fun when the rabbit has a gun. SC's been a rabbit though forever because they've been under a microscope because they got us in trouble. They were playing by the rules. Now they're able to play by the rules. Now it's time to keep up. Are you able to keep up? You might have seen a shift, and don't be surprised if you see schools like Texas, schools like Penn State, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden they get back to the U. Don't be surprised if the U turns it around because now they can keep their kids home. Now they could fairly say, here's $2 million, here's money, right? Before there was only one conference doing it and one school and one conference. Now they could all do it. And I think this is like a precursor of the big logos getting back to where they need to be. SC just ahead of the game a little bit. And the benefits of it is we might make a national championship run.
I'm over the roof right now because just thinking about that is it's amazing. Nobody is ever going to be able to compete with the checkbook of SC and the backers, the donors, and the fundraising of SC. It's just not going to happen. And I look at this magic run, and the one thing that I can't help but think, and I'm gonna take my shot here, and I'll leave it there, is who is the dumb fuck at the at the head of the Pac-12 that let them leave?
Money. It's all money. You know what I mean? Like it's all money. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. Like, now, so you talk about that. So now it's like, is it worth staying, or will the Pac-12 crash again? Because there was a long time where the Pac-12 crashed and it wasn't worth it. So now you have to ask yourself, is the Pac-12, is it worth staying in the Pac-12, or are you risking it by crashing? Now, I will tell you this too. They got about a lot of billions and millions of dollars to go to the Big Ten. You know what I mean? So money talks, bullshit walks. Can the Pac-12? I don't think so.
They'd have to come up with a large check. But if you look at the and we'll get into this deeper, so I'll make this quick. If you look at the Pac-12 this year, there were 6 teams in the top 25. Could you make a case for the Pac-12 as a conference if you were to pour some more money into it and come up with a new TV deal? Now that's a totally different thing. And that would be something that would be worth looking into, but it would also be something that they'd have to pull together very, very quickly. And it would have to involve a phenomenal amount of money.
No, 100%. And so when I played in the Pac-10, it was like that. Any Saturday, you could walk in any stadium and you could lose, right? And it was a respectable conference. Now that it's a respectable conference, it's like, is it a respectable conference too little, too late? Or maybe the Board of Regents could hold it off long enough to where some change can happen, and maybe some people could change their mind, and hopefully they could sustain and remain a respectable conference. Because in reality, we're saying that there's only 2 respectable conferences in college football: the SEC, who's been cheating for the past 10 years, and the Big Ten, right? You're saying the ACC isn't very good, and you're saying that the Big 12 isn't very good, and you're saying the Pac-12 isn't very good. The Pac-12 has an opportunity to become very good, because at the end of the day, people want to see kids want their parents to see them play. So I think the pipeline of talent has gotten better, and they're staying here, and they're also hiring good coaches within the Pac-12, right? So we're seeing a good product that Arizona is doing, right? They're going to hire the OC from Oregon to go to Arizona State. I don't know about that one. They need to make a change at Stanford. Colorado's going to fuck up and hire Dion. So Stanford and Colorado is still going to be at the bottom. But if we have 10 out of 12 teams that at least make 6 games and play a bowl game as a respectable conference and competitors, it might be worth staying, right?
It should be. It absolutely should be. And like I said, because we focus so far on SC in terms of what the NIL can do. Now we haven't brought in Oregon, we haven't brought in Arizona, we didn't bring in UCLA. UCLA made a ton of headroom for their program as well. And with a change at Stanford, there's money there to be poured into the program, and so there's a lot of things that can be done to save the Pac-12. I wish that I knew somebody on the Board of Regents so that we could see what exactly was going on, and if they were in fact trying to sway teams to stay. But I have to believe that there's money, especially when you see them winning, and it's set up in such a way that they can what was previously the advantage for all the SEC teams and throwing money at players because they could afford to do so, and all these other teams can, is no longer their advantage. It's now back to the advantage of the West Coast teams. The teams that go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was saying 100%. Yeah. Like, all right, hotbeds for football: California, Texas,
Florida,
right? If you keep kids west, you may create a whole conference that's legit.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like one state, you got to understand, one state is making a whole conference. The same thing with the Big 12. One state makes a whole conference. At one point, the SEC, the whole state makes one conference, right? So, not the ACC.
3 in the SEC between Florida and Georgia.
I meant the ACC. The ACC, one state makes the whole conference. So, like, it's proven that, man, California has hella talent, right? So you create this thing where SC and UCLA stays, and all of a sudden the conference is back to what it used to be, in my opinion. But like you gotta get them to stay. You gotta figure out how much money is gonna stay, and is it worth staying, right? And like I said, to me it's a risk, and so I have to weigh out what's the risk and risk the reward. Are we gonna be on this pinnacle conference to where all of a sudden we become better than the SEC in the media's eyes? Which I never think will happen because of our time difference. But maybe we could be more competitive and it shows out in bowl games. Do we become that pinnacle in the SEC, or is it we're just going to the Big Ten and collecting the check? Those are the questions you have to ask, right? Like, do you take the easy way out? And you also got to understand there's backdoor deals going on too. Like, where's Oregon going to go, right? Where's Washington going to go? Because if UCLA and USC leaves, the Pac-12 is done.
Right.
So that's where the future of the conference is. Like, we have 1 year to figure it out. If they leave, the Pac-12 is done, and you got schools that's going to deplete and go everywhere and do those types of things. But what we're seeing from SC is for sure a precursor of NIL. Here's the best way to describe it. What we're seeing at SC is what Alabama's been doing on all the Nick Saban's championships, and I'm not afraid to say it. What we're seeing at SC is Kirby Smart's team right now. He bought his team when it was not legal. Everybody has the same thing, and everybody's able to do it. I'm not leaving Hawaii to go to Athens, Georgia, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama. If I'm leaving Hawaii, I'm going to California. You know why? Because the weather is still 75 degrees in November, and there's a beach. We're seeing the precursor of a school that has the same advantage. Now that fields are level, SC is good. They have all their scholarships. They're able to pay players. They're able to do things. And that's why we're seeing in our first year doing this podcast, we're seeing this amount of success. Our worst game, we still won, right? And our only loss was by one that happened in the last minute of the game. You can't help from that. What'd you say?
I said with some help from the referees.
No, 100%. 100%. Man, I'm so excited. I'm going to recap this. We've been talking about this all year on the podcast. We're waiting for a complete game from the Trojans. We finally got a complete game tonight. This is the most complete game we've seen them play. Offense, defense, special teams. We even saw a couple of push kicks from Caleb Williams. I will say this. My one critique, I think Lincoln Riley at one point got a little bit too fancy down there in the red zone and took some points off the board, which he should have never. I think he should have just stepped to his game plan. But we saw a complete game from the Trojans tonight. We've been asking to see it, and that's what happened. This was out of doubt a victory, man. I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy with what I saw tonight. No complaints from defense, no complaints from the offense, no complaints from special teams. Bravo, man. Trojans, fight on. What do you got, Phil? Let's wrap this up.
What do I got? Our Trojans headed to the Pac-12 championship, hopefully to be the number 4 team in the nation. Take care of your business there in Vegas. Get into the playoffs. And then once you start dancing end to end to the Pac-12 conversation, I think what it really boils down to is where SC finishes this season. If by some stroke, and that's cart before the horse, they manage to go the whole distance somehow, some way, the Pac-12 got to figure out a way to get it done.
At the end of the day, we got to take care of Oregon or Utah or Washington State or UCLA. Whoever. We booked our spot. We're already in the Pac-12 championship. We'll see you guys in Vegas on Friday. Hey, man, make sure you tune in to all of our podcasts. Oh, we're getting popular. We're getting sex ads in our chat. We're getting popular, guys. Hey, make sure you guys tune into our podcast. It'll be posted on Wednesday. Salute to Troy podcast. We'll be down in Vegas for the Pac-12 championship. Hopefully we get a live going. I'm pretty sure we can, just like we were in the Rose Bowl. Hey, Phil, is great, man. I'm so happy. I'm gonna take one more for you, Phil. This one's for you. Oh, and hey, I'm gonna tell you about the quiet assassin Mario Williams when we podcast. Mario Williams is low key the star of the team. He's just so quiet when he does it. Yeah, we got. I thank all you guys for tuning in. All you guys that came in and listened. Hey, we put on a complete game. Fight on. Salute to Troy, man. Tune in Wednesday. Thank you guys.